Very, very important topic to cover. And the moderator for this panel is Mary Pedler, who's a seasoned communication expert and founder of Input Communications Agency and Input Lifestyle. She leverages over 7 years of experience in GR and PR to drive the success of 50 tech projects, aiding in raising over $500 million while specializing in tailored communication strategies for global tech ventures. Please welcome our moderator for this panel, Mary Pedler. And alongside her, the panel is, as I said, very, very interesting as well. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome Homam Hashem, CEO of Kafalah Loan Guarantee Program since 2017, boasts over 25 years of financial sector experience, instrumental in resurrecting new products, expanding networks, and empowering teams, resulting in significant SME growth and job creation in the Saudi. So please welcome Mr. Homam Hashem. Next on the panel, I have Mr. Zubair Mughal, who is the Chief Executive Officer of AlHuda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics. He is also the Founding Director of Islamic Microfinance Network and Chief Editor of Islamic Microfinance News. So put your hands together for Mr. Zubair Mughal. And last but not the least on this panel is Mr. Maher Kaabi. He's a seasoned banker and visionary leader with over 30 years of experience in banking, IT, and family business, serves on multiple advisory boards, and is a sought-after keynote speaker, sharing expertise on various topics, including fintech, circular economy, and sustainable family businesses. And it's our pleasure to have you on the stage once again, Mr. Maher Kaabi, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for him. So the topic of this panel discussion is accelerating digitalization in Islamic banking, a very important topic and very relevant in this part of the world as well. So it's over to our moderator for this panel, Mary Pedler.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. Today, we're going to discuss the concept of Islamic banking and the latest technologies that are being implemented in the industry. So the first question I would like to ask, could you please elaborate on the difference between the conventional banking and Islamic banking so that everyone could have an understanding? Yeah.
I may? Okay. Islamic banking is based actually on the risk sharing and backed up by a product. So whereas the conventional banking based on the interest mainly and different type of profitability, which is not based on a clear or risk sharing concept with the customer. Normally, the Islamic banking, it has 4 to 5 products like Ijara, Murabaha, Musharaka, Istisna', Istizra'. This is the type of lending it goes by. Simultaneously, there is certain type of investment, which is like sukuk and other type of investment, different than the bonds, which is normally goes by the conventional banking.
Hello. Thank you so much. And let's talk about the digitalization in Islamic banking. What do you think are the latest technologies that are being implemented for the, let's say, last 5 years? What are the main sectors that you see right now?
Yeah.
Zubair, yeah.
Basically, if we see the total size of Islamic banking and finance industry, which is about $4 trillion right now, and about 5,000 Islamic financial institutions, including Islamic Bank, takaful companies, Islamic microfinance, Sukuk, Islamic asset management companies, and Islamic fintechs. They are working in about 100 countries. Islam do not have any contradiction to utilize the technology unless the process are according to the Sharia. So many Islamic financial institutions are utilizing technology, and basically technology is transforming the banking and financial industry. So there are many Islamic banks in different parts of the world. They are utilizing different types of technology in banking and financial sector, the artificial intelligence, robo-advices, and as well as the blockchain technology for the clearance of the checks, and including the cryptocurrencies now have Sharia compliance elements. So that is an emerging area, and Islamic fintech companies, about 400 Islamic fintech companies right now working in different parts of the world, and they are providing a very good services for Islamic banking and financial industry.
Maher, you have been like at the beginning of establishment of the whole banking system of the UAE. Could you tell us more about like what technologies are being implemented right now in Islamic banking?
Sure. I think it's okay to reflect the oldest Islamic bank in the country is in the world as well is Dubai Islamic Bank, established in 1975, the modern Islamic banking. I do not want to distinguish between conventional banking and Islamic banking when it comes to technology. The first Islamic digital bank, or first digital bank, was Islamic in UAE. The three big markets that we have for Islamic banking are Saudi, UAE, and Malaysia. These are the biggest markets, so all the banking emanates from here. So, as I mentioned, the first digital bank was an Islamic bank, Hilal Bank. If you look at Saudi market in terms of digitizing things, most of their banking are Islamic. Actually, for consumer, it's almost 99%, to be honest with you. So it's the largest in terms of Islamic penetration. So Saudi and UAE have been in forefront in putting digital first for clients. So Bank al-Bilad, as I know of, because I've worked with most of them, they were the first to come up with online account opening, smooth STP completely. So if I go back to my history where I worked in Citibank, so we used to have a slogan called either you're City Banker or next City Banker, or City Universities as well. So while predictive modeling was there, equally non-city bankers, Islamic bankings were also doing predictive modeling. So I had a team which were running predictive modeling in terms of predicting scores and so many things, part of one of the verticals that we had. We were doing the same thing in Islamic banking as well. So while AI is a term being used very loosely globally today, which I gave a keynote 2 days ago on AI in another forum, but in terms of machine learning and deep learning has been happening for quite some time in the banking. Where we're missing, not the banking sector overall, is how do we make sure we utilize the data we have today, what we call it the big data, further to provide a bespoke products. Now, most of you have credit card, or all of you probably have credit card. You're probably still receiving the same messages for credit card companies saying, if you have a balance transfer to do, please come and do a balance transfer. We can see that you have this much amount outstanding, why don't you do an installment program? Despite probably some of you have never did an installment program in your life, i.e. you're probably paying the entire month fully, right? So unfortunately, we've not yet gone there, and that's applicable for conventional banking and Islamic banking.
Thank you. Since you mentioned that Saudi is at the forefront of this development, could you tell us more about Saudi Arabia? How has it been developing as you're a quite big representative from this country?
Thank you. Actually, I'll back to Maher points, which is, he mentioned Citibank, because it seems to be, by luck, we are coming from the same school. And literally in 1993, I worked in Citibank to develop the first scorecard that it helped the decision-making in the region, okay, within Saudi Arabia, UAE, and 3 other countries to implement the scoring in the decision-making. So AI is not a new, a new thing. No, it is an old. It used to be exist, but I believe the sound of AI start to become more loud these days. In terms of Saudi Arabia, I believe yes, exactly as Brother Maher mentioned, that it is becoming a market maker, and it is part of product innovations, within Saudi, within the, Islamic banking providers markets. Almost all banks, they are Islamic, they have Islamic products. All the banks, they have Islamic products. Majority is tapped for consumer, for commercial. We have a few products still conventional, but it is not a major, not contributing major, especially in the corporate side. We have seen a major change where now the customer journey start to be digitalized from day one. Like, for example, you don't need to have the ID, the KYC, the opening of the account journey start to become fully digitalized. Even you don't need the customer to be neither inside the branch, or sometimes if you have the ID, you don't need to have him in, within the country. Even the ID itself, you used to copy it. Nowadays, you have your digital ID, and the authentication goes directly with the customer. The application processing, if it is goes for loan origination, where it used to be taking, if it is not days, it used to be taking months. Nowadays, it is a real time. You can get your loan, you can get your, financing a real time, and you're competing with the time. We used to say that, yes, you can take your loan 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or half an hour. Now we say that it's real time. Before I came here, now we are talking before even the time, where we have the customer database and we can penetrate and find the right customer that we would like to give him before even target. And after that, servicing. Now, this create, a great momentum to generate and to tap to the market. I believe there's an area right now which is coming, like, for example, the fraud detection, like areas correlated to cross-selling, and all other areas like customer service, ChatGPT, where it used to be for the chatbot, and other services that it had enhanced the presentations and services to the customer, and that's why we are seeing more productive and more attractive products nowadays in the market.
Anything to add?
Yes, basically, let me share of our experience to work in African continent in some Southeast Asian part. Why Islamic finance? We are utilizing Islamic finance mostly for the financial inclusion. As you know, in Islam, interest is prohibited. Therefore, in many Muslim countries, people do not utilize conventional financial product and remain excluded from the financial access. If we want to include them into the financial inclusion, then Islamic finance is necessary. But the thing is that Islamic finance is not only necessary, right? On technology is necessary as well. I give you the example of Pakistan. Pakistan is a country of a population of 250 million. But only 19% population of Pakistan is financially included. 81% population do not have any financial account. But 97% adult population of Pakistan have a mobile account. They have a mobile device. If we utilize our Islamic financial product with the technology, then our outreach will be much more. According to the World Bank report that about 40% of the world poverty reside in the Muslim world. And one of the major reasons of the poverty in the Muslim world is that we do not have such financial product which is according to the religious belief of the Muslim. And if we will introduce such product with the technology, then our outreach will be much better. So we are trying to introduce Sharia compliant fintech, Sharia compliant product so that the financial inclusion can be increased, and the such countries who are striving for the poverty and other financial and economic issue, those things can be settled. Yeah.
Thank you. And you have also mentioned that blockchain and cryptocurrency are playing a big role in digitalization of Islamic banking. So could you tell us more about how perhaps it is being utilized in the UAE, in Saudi, and in Pakistan as well?
It's already in play for quite some time now. So the banks I was working in, almost all the banks have private blockchains, right? So they're using it for their transaction services, which is very important and embedded in their transactions. And of course, we all know the advantages of blockchain. We just gave a keynote, or we just had a panel discussion yesterday, discussing this yesterday. The advantage that we have in UAE, that the government is on forefront in adopting all the technologies, the latest technology that we have today, and making it very difficult for the private sectors to actually follow. We have a reverse in the Western world. I worked over there as well. So you have over there the private sector is pushing the government, but the laws is not coming really. So we're blessed over here with the leaders that we have that are getting pushed. So all the banks over here almost are using blockchain for a very long time. Of course, that has facilitated for your transaction to happen very, very quickly. I'll give you an example. We work very hard on making sure that you open an account without even visiting the bank through online services. And just 3 taps and your account is open in a few minutes. Of course, we were working very hard with the central bank, the regulator, because regulation, usually we get our regulation from US, unfortunately, for whatever reasons. So they keep on telling that you need to do all your AML and KYC and so forth, right? Which is, of course, some of them are good reasons, some of them are not. So we had to fight with the central bank saying, look, if we're going to be a smart city, as our, what do you call leaders are saying, then we need to, the times goes away that the person need to come to the bank, bring his actually original ID, we take the ID, we photocopy it, and then we say it's TC in original, and then here you go, we open the account, probably take instant or a few days. We say we're going to eradicate this completely. We have a national ID, and we have a credit bureau. So we want to enable a service whereby while you're sitting at home, through your mobile, you download the application, you just put in your ID number, and that's it. We will do the magic trick from behind. And of course, it's gone through a tussle of a month or 2 with the central bank and the regulator, and they've approved it. And because we did that, of course, that was applicable for the Islamic window as well, which I was heading at that point of time as well. After that, you could see all the banks follow the same suit. Of course, Saudis were doing the same thing as well. So they also have online bank account opening immediately, smoothly. But then we said, okay, what's the next thing we need to do? How can we offer credit card without anybody coming to the bank, without bringing a salary certificate, without bringing your bank statements, just based on scoring? And we launched that. And now we can get a credit card online without doing any of this kind of things from my previous bank. So you could see that the technology is supporting to make the decision. But it's not the technology alone, availability of it to be there. It's the people. Do we have the right mindset for people to use the technology? If you don't have the right leadership mindset to use the technology, then you've not really achieved anything. So it's all very important that you have the right set of mindset along of making use of that technology.
Would you like to add anything else on Saudi?
I fully agree on this point, actually. One of the, also the condition, the market conditions, like exactly what happened during COVID-19. We have seen that COVID-19, it moved actually the usage of physical currency to digital wallets for all our transactions. Nowadays, you don't use any physical money. I doubt that any one of us, he had more than 300 or 400 dirham in his wallet just, for tipping. And even tipping, you are using now digital currency. It's not anymore in use. I believe this is the thing which is, it helps us to grow the business.
Yeah, and what about the, let's say, cryptocurrency? As far as I know, in Saudi Arabia, it was banned for quite a long time, and now, the ice is breaking. And are there many, startups in Islamic banking that are coming to Saudi that have, implementation of cryptocurrency?
Okay. Let me just give a highlight about cryptocurrency. Yes, it had been, somewhere restricted because the government, they would like to assure that there is enough regulations and to prevent anti-money laundering transaction against this type of currencies. They need to assure that there is appropriate control and they are defending the customer right. This is a key element for the government, which is quite well and well understood within our system. However, the regulator, which is for all the banking system, which is the central bank, SAMA, have moved ahead in multiple steps by building the sandbox, along with that one to create multiple successful stories which we have seen within Saudi Arabia. That's they managed, like for example, the group financing, like what we have seen, the digital wallets, different type of banks, digital banks even it becomes, and that it had increased the chance within Saudi Arabia to see better regulation, faster regulation, that it can help the proceed to digital currencies in the near future.
Yes, if we see the digitalization in Islamic finance industry have a different phases. For example, 20 years back when Safaricom launched M-Pesa, that was a new product. Then after that, there are a lot of other elements of technology is the part of fintech or digital innovation. Right now, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, even CBDC, central bank digital currencies, about 14 countries already issued the digital currencies. So then I am the part of one working group, some investor from Turkey. They are trying to have one Islamic bank at Metaverse. So that is might be a new thing in financial industry, that bank will not have any physical branch. They will not might be utilize the mobile technology. They will utilize virtual headset, and they have to utilizing banking and financial services. And if we see the technology is basically reducing the cost of the financial products. I give you my example that when I was a child in my village, the insurance people 30 years back, they used to come to my village to insure the livestock. When they insure the livestock, they put the permanent tag at the ear of the horse or cow. And when cow is died, the farmer cut their hair, go to the city in the insurance company and take the claims. And I'm the eyewitness, I saw a lot of cow in my village without hair. It means the fake claim. But right now, the livestock insurance is being done through GSM technology. They have to put GSM SIM at the body of the livestock, or they swallow and stick with the stomach. The price of that device is $2. If there is any claim of the livestock, the insurance company have to check either the heart is beating or not. Where is the geographical location of that livestock? And the false claim have been reduced up to 90%. And the price of the livestock insurance dropped down. So basically, technologies are so facilitating the price of the financial product, price of the insurance product, and etc. And the cryptocurrency, yes, in the cryptocurrency, they are utilizing blockchain. I saw a lot of P2P platform, they are utilizing blockchain technology for remittances. Yes, it depends that how you are utilizing the blockchain technology. Yeah, cryptocurrency is a good use case. 4 or 5 Sharia compliant cryptocurrencies are also working, but there are many other use cases as well.
Thank you.
If I can add, just a side note, you all heard about BCIs? No? So it's a matter of chipping human beings, by the way. So the way we chipping animals, it's a matter of time that we're going to get chipped. By the way, there are already about 8 million people in the US being chipped before COVID, 4 million being chipped in UK, 2 million being chipped in Belgium already. So the chipping is coming anyway. So if you resist, that's a good thing. But just to go to fundamentals of cryptocurrencies, as long as cryptocurrencies are based on actual assets, there's no problem for it to be Islamic or non-Islamic, doesn't matter. As long as they're assets, because Islamic banking is based on either on sale or lease. These are two main things that we do in Islamic banking. And that is dependent that you have a real asset you're trading on. For example, you want to finance a vehicle, so there's an actual vehicle. We don't do anything in terms of which is no asset not being available. We don't do financing of that. So cryptocurrencies, if it's based on assets, we can do. One of the companies I know of, they're doing tokenization for real estate asset in Canadian company called Al-Mubarak. I think they were number one when they started it. So they do tokenization of all the real estate. And accordingly, you'll be able to buy that small tokens, and it's working very successfully in Canada.
So the concept of, let's say, digital bars, digital gold bars, could be a very good use case here as well.
It's there already. So there's a company called Gilded that we know very well. I know the CEO, I know the chairman very well. So what they do, you have a digital certificate of your gold, but you're actually attached to a physical gold. So the physical gold is there, and you have a claim on it anytime you want. The only thing is that they're taking the physical and reserving it for you in a bank vault, whatever you want. And Gilded does that. So if, for example, if you want the gold to be delivered to you in Singapore, they'll deliver it to you there, in UAE, and so forth. But now we're making it digital for you. But the actual access of the gold is there. So you have the claim to that thing. So that certificate, digital certificate, is for the gold bar that you have, which has a unique number.
Yeah, that sounds quite sophisticated and convenient for all of us. So, okay, let's look towards the future. What trends do you see in the industry, and what forecast can you give for, let's say, the upcoming 5 years?
Since we are talking about Islamic banking, I will speak about the future of Islamic banking. Now, we know that AI is coming. It is already there, actually. And one of the initial jobs we are going to lose in the near future is a lawyer job, because all the books and all the rules is going to be in the AI, and whenever you like to ask any question, you will have, the lawyers, you have ChatGPT in your hand, and you can get the answer. Guess what? I believe now the scholars of the Sharia committee, they are going to face the same problem, because they have all the know-how, and that's know-how, it is already embedded as a backpack to the, to the AI engine, which is going to come and start generating for you, the decision. So if you are, for example, in the credit card business, you like to create a credit card in Ijara. What is the way to do it? It's very simple. Go to your AI engine and put all the rules inside and ask the question, and it will give you all the options. Now, does that mean we are going to say to all our scholars, thank you and bye-bye? No, it is now the time for our scholars to come and think outside the box and start on the creativity part, which is normally, it is not an ability for the machines, and that it will be, an amazing thing that it will bring to the enrichment to the industry, and we can see much more a new product, much more new dimension to the business. Simultaneously, I trust we will see a new dimension in the business itself. So if you like to take a loan, for example, and you have, a credit ability like your credit bureau score, it gives you a certain risk factors. So rather than going and make a shipping or shopping through a certain bank, a single bank, you can put your digitalized scorecard, and it will give you different option for your loan or your amount you are eligible to take from the different banks or MBFIs, so that you get the best tailored products to your side, and from card to consumer loan to mortgages to a different area. And that's a new thing which we are going to see within the coming period.
Yes, as per my prediction, I wish I may be wrong, but I believe that in these next 15 to 20 years, almost 40 to 50% physical branches network of the banking and financial sector will be closed. Our banking and finance will sum up with this device. For example, and that is the reality, I'm utilizing one digital bank in UAE from last 3 years. And from last 3 years, hardly I visited 1 or 2 times to that bank branch. Whatever is my banking need, that is over here. What is my ticketing, what is my utility bills, whatever is my other expenses, I have to utilize that device. So technology will emerge and might be physical infrastructure will reduce, and it will be a positive change, and I'm sure the accessibility to the general public will be increased as well. Yeah.
I think it's going back to brain power. If we don't have leadership in terms of making sure how do we reform banking sectors, then it's going to be very challenging for us to see any changes. Why? Bankers are actually, not all of them, but quite a lot of them are control freak. Why? Because the central bank want them to be control freak. So not only the banking need to change, but our regulators need to be adaptive to the technologies. That's one of the reasons we don't have, unfortunately, a wide regulation of cryptocurrencies globally today, because the central bank does not really allow that. So what you should envisage a banking to be is like a completely branchless. So if you go to Emirates MBD, they started the first branch, which is completely digital, without any human being there. A robot is serving you. It's in Emirates Towers. You should have branches on your palm. That's it. So in your handheld. As you mentioned, you don't need to visit any branch for any time. So not even one time. You don't even think about that. So the branch is completely going to change. But what are the products which are going to evolve? That's very, very important. And I think where inclusivity is not there, which is the services of having investment products, because you need to do still profiling on the customers. But technology should be able to do that for you. As I mentioned the example earlier, I shouldn't be waiting for me asking something. I should have the predictive modeling and analysis, and deep machine learning should be telling me what's good for me. Something we did 10, 15 years ago, by the way. So it's not really sophisticated. It's very, very simple. But we need to put that thing even further to further segment the client, have the right data to make that happen. So that's require a lot of efforts from people managing the data and those who are doing into a lot of deep learning and machine learning. So you should not be seeing banks per se, ideally speaking. Not in 5 years, but longer than that. But in 5 years, you should have a good prediction of probably 50% of the branches not to be there. Everything should be on your palm. I think most of you have banking accounts over here, but how many of you visited banks the last 1 month? Show of hand? None. That's how your banking is.
Thank you. You want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe there is a greatest threat right now for the banking. We as a banker used to be, going to the branch, going to the head office, conduct business, is not anymore going to be continual like this. Fintechs is in the way. We have seen a great threat nowadays. They are coming, they are taking part of the loans portfolio, part of the point of sale services, different part of the service. And they are creating disturbance to the market, a real disturbance to the market. So if we don't shape up, we have to shape out. As a bankers, we have to be more creative and serve the customers, be more agile and be more to the market needs during the coming periods.
Thank you, dear experts. That was very, very insightful. Perhaps we have some questions from the audience. Then we'll be ready to answer. Okay, seems like no questions. Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening rather. One question on lighter note to Zubair you mentioned that in your village they are giving the chips, GSM chips to the cows. So if we call them, how do they respond?
Sorry?
You said that you are giving GSM chips
Yes.
to the cows to track them or something?
Basically, that chip is being utilized to understand the geographical location of that animal.
Through a GPS signal?
Yes, number one. Number two, the mobility. That what is the mobility. And the third, that also gives the signal that either the heart is beating or not. So that is the multiple function of that chip.
So they are consuming some device which have a GSM chip in it?
Yes, that is.
All right, okay. And another question to Mr. Kaabi is, sir, the Islamic finance traditionally, as we know, is very Sharia-centric. The overall premises of Islamic banking is very, very dependent on the stipulations as laid down by within the tenets of Sharia bylaws. So what typical difference the fintech side will bring into the game which change the conventional Sharia-based Islamic finance to a very fintech-based Islamic finance?
I hope the word fintech is not scaring people, but fintech is all about how do you automate and digitize your processes, to be honest with you, which is something akin to what we used to use in the past, RPAs, which is robotic automation processes. So you automate your processes. So why fintech is there? Because banking relatively are very huge. They've got regulation to follow, so central bank is there on top of them. So for them to make a change, it's like moving an elephant for a direction. It takes a longer time. So fintech companies came in, let's say 15 years ago, they started developing those products. They're not regulated by anybody. They're able to do things faster. And now they're bringing the services to the world of banking, saying it, we have the services. And one of the first things they started with was payments, transfers. I mean, earlier, maybe 10 years ago, when you make a transfer, international transfer, would probably take you anything between 5 to 10 days. I didn't understand that even why, despite SWIFT being there and so forth. And that despite being in Citibank, trying to really break our heads saying, let's do it faster. But fintech companies come and say, look, we can do it for you instantly. You don't need to go through all these hassles. So fintech companies going to make, they're playing an enabler role. Now, we need them and they need us. So that means there's a lot of collaborative effort to be there to smoothen the process, to make it fully digital and automate it, so you'll have a faster and efficient process of making it happen.
Right. So one more aspect is that Islamic institutions, Islamic banks, when they access conventional finance available in the market, right, they are unable to touch that finance because they are unable to verify the veracity of the the generation of that financial ecosystem. So do you think that the fintech side, or especially with blockchain, we have now the track and traceability component available, which can identify the veracity of the available finance in the market, and Islamic institutions or Sharia institutions will be more acceptable to access that kind of finance?
I think that will be applicable to all the banking sectors, not only Islamic banking. Why? Because blockchain brings you that transparency. So you're able to have records available, you'll be able to look at them, so you'll trace back the origin, you'll be able to do that. So that's also for banking themselves. So even for Islamic and also conventional, because conventional banking also regulated, they would like to know the source of funds. Similarly, if you want to access liquidity from the Islamic perspective, we have instruments available today that we can do from bank to bank, which is FI lending. So we, based on Murabaha structure that we carry out. But of course, with the blockchain being there, you probably make it faster.
Thank you very much. And one final question to Mr. Homam is, are you aware of any typical no-go area within the fintech ecospace, within the Sharia ecosystem?
Yes, I believe that the SME financing is going to be one of the fastest growing businesses. If you look to the history of the banking, okay, I would say about the past 40 to 50 years, banks used to be focusing on the corporate business and never ever spoke about, consumer financing. Then consumer financing start along with the credit card, then personal financing, then mortgages. Now we are talking about SME financing, and SME financing has become one of the key players, and I believe this is the area where we will see a huge tapping, and the demand, as mentioned, from number of employees, number of opportunities available, and the opportunity of business is going to be huge. I believe this is the area where they will be major players.
Thank you so much for the talk. So I just have a question. The dynamic is very different over here in the Middle East versus in the United States. So I'm from New York City, and I go to Columbia University. I just graduated from there. But basically, everyone that goes to Columbia either wants to work on Wall Street and wants to work in like the normal or the conventional banking industry, right? Or wants to be a consultant. So everyone's, you go to Columbia, you go to, Goldman Sachs, or you work for JP Morgan. Now we know that obviously over there, it's because, the US dollar is very powerful and all the trade has to be made. Of course, BRICS now is, taking a stance against that. But the government is creating lots of problems for people in cryptocurrency right now. So, of course, they want to milk the US dollar as much as possible. But for the people who are interested in fintech over there, for example, we don't have FDIC insurance, right? The $250,000 if you lose for a bank. How do you think the dynamic is going to be for someone, if you want to do something over there versus over here, and in the future, do you think it's, because I know even JP Morgan has a lot of investments in crypto, even though they have to say, otherwise, but how do you think that dynamic is going to be, and is it going to be scalable? Because over there, a lot of bankers talk about this is not going to work out for the future, it's going to fail, and the government's going to crack down to stop it. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
For the crypto?
Yeah.
They have no choice, to be honest with you. And they're all actually going to be on forefront in adopting crypto. And yesterday in my, talk, I mentioned Jamie Dimon, who's chairman of JP Morgan, was talking against the crypto while his own company is buying billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars.
100%.
They still have it on their books. Larry Fink, also started buying a big portfolio of cryptocurrencies, billions of dollars. So that is the way to go forward. Of course, it's a matter of government realizing that they need to do that thing. I don't know what's holding them down at this point of time, but I think it's sitting down and talking to the people who are doing the cryptocurrencies. I think the government themselves will come up with a digital currency. We ourselves in UAE already announced our digital currency a couple of years ago. So the world will be moving towards digital currency, and this is something they're going to be pushing for it themselves. So I think what is going on now, it's just a level playing field. It's just something going to happen sooner or later. It's going to happen.
How do you think to find the balance between the regulations, so, centralized versus decentralized?
ETFs was a start. I believe in a balanced, I agree with you. I don't believe in complete decentralization. Because, and I was having a discussion on workshop on Metaverse, when Metaverse came as a hype. And the question I posed to the gentlemen over there at the table, if I commit a crime in Metaverse 1, will you go and complain about me or go and announce about me to Metaverse 2 and 3 that I committed a crime? You won't believe it. Some people said, no, I don't have to tell the others. And that's really difficult to digest because that's mean a lot of bad actors going to be happening over there. So there should be some sensible centralized bodies where they collaborate with the private sector, which is exactly what we try to do in UAE. We do not issue any regulation without consulting the private sectors. So all the regulation we've done, at least in the last 3-4 years, I sit on some of the councils myself, we actually engage with the private sectors, we see what are the needs there, so we come up with something sensible for the market. We protect as much as possible the people out there. So I think that's the way forward as well, international market. So US or even China need to think how they can work with the private sector, come up with something conducive, where it's just a win-win situation. You will learn through the process at least, because we're learning through the process as well. We don't have a perfect model, but we'll go through the learning and accordingly we'll keep on amending. It's not something a holy book has to be written in stone. No, it will keep on evolving. It's a journey.
Yeah, thank you so much.